the Honest Edit podcast, unpacking the truth about life's messes, one honest conversation at a time, with your host, Scarlett, the no-fluff, get-it-done mindset coach, and Holly, your go-to for all things practical, balancing chaos with compassion.
Hi, welcome back to the Honest Edit with Holly and Scarlett. Today we're talking about time management and some tips about how to structure your day, how to not be feeling like you're overwhelmed and crazy all the time.
It's all about the modern woman today, or a modern guy is really somebody that balances multiple things. And that could be a career, a family life. You're segmenting out your day without feeling too much overwhelm and too much pressure of either society or what you put on yourself.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. We get stuck in what things are supposed to look like, or what we're supposed to be doing, or comparison of what other people are doing versus what we're doing. And I think that's a lot of thanks to social media, because you don't always see behind the camera about the chaos. I did a photo shoot at my house the other day, and literally behind the scenes was just stuff everywhere. There was just things, pulled out of cabinets. There was stuff on the floor. There was stuff everywhere to make this like perfect shot. And that's really kind of how I think we get stuck with, the perfectionism of what it looks like for other people, because it's not real. I think for me, I just want to have progress. Even with a client, it's not going to be always perfect. The drawer isn't going to fit perfectly, or it's not going to look the same every time you're living in it. It's just progress. It's like we talked about earlier in a different episode about building a system and building a routine, and it can change. Everything can evolve. So life isn't like a one size fit all. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Give yourself some easy wins throughout the day.
Yeah, and I'm huge on the whole perfection thing. It really bothers me. Yeah, there are some really satisfying videos on Instagram where they're restocking and refilling pantries and, whatever. But I just feel like it's a lot of pressure, even for us, and owning, an organizing company. It's a lot of pressure to do the same thing and model after that, and what the client expectations might be, or what our expectations might be. I know for a long time I didn't want to do a podcast, and I really didn't want to dive into social media because I thought, oh my gosh, well, my videos are not this perfect, then I shouldn't be doing them. But really the truth is I would rather be more raw and authentic. I mean, we have a partially eaten charcuterie board that we threw together because we've been in front of the camera all morning and we just needed a freaking snack. And instead of clearing this out, I just kind of want to continue to nosh on it. Even in my own home, I was, we were talking about earlier, and I feel like it goes along the lines of societal pressures, family pressures, friend pressures, or just pressures that you put on yourself. I couldn't throw a party, a dinner, an event, or have people over at my house without spending a week cleaning. I know some of y'all, I definitely know some of y'all clean before the housekeepers get there. That's the thing. I would even do landscaping.
Because it matters for a dinner party.
Yes, it matters for a dinner party. I literally recall a time throwing dinner together, and I'm out at 9 a.m. doing landscaping because it was bothering me, But I think over the past year, and really diving in and working on myself and, showing up as a leader in business, and what we do and being professional organizers, it's really just being mindful of a couple things. One, you can do day-to-day deals where you're not, trying to cram everything in one morning prior to an event. Two, you can give yourself a little grace that if you're working on a project, that it's okay for people to walk in on it and just say, hey, sorry about the mess. I'm working on a project right now. And this is the potential. Share the vision. Get excited about the vision, and they're going to forget about the mess. They're going to go, oh my gosh, that's going to be incredible. That's going to be amazing. And then also just, who cares?
Don't be so serious on yourself.
Yeah. We just learned that through a lot.
Yeah.
With them.
I feel like there's so many times that we'll go into clients' homes and they're just apologizing for the mess or whatnot. And we understand, life happens. Things get messy. We're not perfect all the time. Perfect isn't a real thing. Perfect is actually progress. I think that if you're comparing yourself to what Instagram says that it's supposed to look like, or what your friend's house was the last time that you went to a dinner party, like, we're all just doing our best. And I feel like when I invite people in my home, I clean before the housekeeper comes, but I do not clean before my friends come, because my friends know this is Holly. This is herself. She's going to have snacks on the counter. She's going to have shoes not, up in the shoe bin because they just got home and invited all the friends over. Like, everything doesn't have to be just cookie cutter perfect all of the time. It doesn't work. We are human. We all make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And on top of like stressing yourself out before you're hosting an event or you're trying to get a project done, that's just not great for your mental health. It's not good for your family. It's not good for you. Like, maybe a couple weeks out, if you have time, every day you're like, I'm going to do this one task. So I'm leading up to something, and then it can be how you want it to look. But on top of that, there's this invisible work that we all carry, whether you're male, female, or mother, father. I feel like in my case, mothers kind of carry this invisible work with them. Housekeeping and housework has become a gender role in our society. And so it's kind of always on the woman to keep up with things. We'll have, I've had stories, not my mother-in-law because she's amazing, but mother-in-laws will come over and be like, oh, the baseboard is dirty. And, you're like, well, your son can clean that up too, just as much as I could.
Yeah.
So there's this invisible work that we're just always have. I know we always have like circulating in our mind. And what we're telling you is like, get it down on paper and then like make a punch list. Yeah. What can get done? Batch similar tasks. Like if you're waiting on something to soak in the laundry room, like go ahead and start a load, or go ahead and separate out the laundry to make it easier. So it
clothes away,
or put clothes away. Like go ahead and fold something and put it away. Yeah. Especially with invisible work in my household, it took me a long time with having a baby and then being through COVID, like asking for help. My husband and I now have we have a weekly family meeting where we sit down and we're like, okay, here are the things that are coming up from his to-do list to my to-do list, like who can help with what. Not everyone's going to be 100% all the time. Sometimes I'm coming in with 30%. Sometimes he's coming in with 45. Like we have to help each other and give compromise.
Yeah.
And help pick up the slack whenever everyone's not feeling great.
I like that you touched on this because I know we've talked about this before. There was something that I saw a while back, and it was communicating without like everybody in the room knowing about it. So whether you have, little ones, or you just, maybe your mother-in-law lives with you, or you got friends over or whatever, and you walk in the door and you're not feeling that great, you can literally tell your partner, hey, I'm at like a 3 right now. And then your partner automatically knows without having that conversation to just go and be a bit more helpful. Yeah, maybe the kiddos throw a temper tantrum, or maybe something needs to be cleaned up, or there needs to be a remedy or something resolved. And they can do that without having some knee-deep conversation that you don't really want to have right now. It might be private, or it might be heated, or it might be a whatever. And they just know maybe they're at the 9 and you're at the 3, and they can sort of compromise. But then the next day, maybe they're at a 6 when they come in, and then you kind of help them out a little bit. One day my husband has a great day and I don't. One day I walk in and I'm like, woohoo, and he's like, ugh. And it's just having a conversation without having a conversation and being there for each other. Right? Yeah.
I think because we're always trying to multitask, right? We get in the door, we got to put our stuff up. Usually dinner needs to be ready. There's all these things to prepare. So really communicating with your family, your partner, your people on how you're feeling and where you need help is huge. And then if you have children, your kiddos see that too. And you're judging them that like, Mommy's not always at a 10. I need help too. Sometimes I need to stop and take a breath. I need a hug. I need to have a snack. Earlier, I was like, I'm getting hangry. I need a snack. Please feed me. And so you're not trying to do everything by yourself at once. You really do need to have support. And hopefully you're in a situation where you can get support at home. If you live alone, I know that's totally different. If you don't have family at home, if you're taking care of, sick family or aging parents, like we're all in that generation of families that are raising kids and taking care of aging parents, and how it's just so much it's just so much for everyone. So trying to find the places where you can ask for help or you can just let something go so you don't hit the burnout.
And I'm glad that you said that too. Letting things go is, like for me, it was very difficult to delegate out because, oh, they're not going to do it like I do it. Having the extra help, no, they may not do it as like you would prefer. I mean, doing it incorrectly, sure, that's a little bit different. Yeah, the housekeeper is like not doing something correctly and it's going to ruin. Okay. But I'm saying like, if I go to wipe down this table and I am doing such a great job, and then my daughter comes behind me and just kind of wipes it down. The table's wiped down. Let's just let it go. And the fact that she did it is great. Or if I ask my assistant to do something and I delegate this task over and it doesn't come back completely perfect, I can make some tweaks or changes. I love the fact that they did 90% of what I needed to get done because it allowed me to do something else.
Yeah. I feel like I am constantly repeating myself, even at home with my 5-year-old, because he knows the routine. We have the systems in place, but it's also like you tell them to do something and then they half-ass it because they don't know how to do it because they've only done it, 100 times and you've done it 10,000 times. And so trying to keep your calm and your patience and maybe coming back to it later, be like, hey, bud, like you cleaned the table off that you missed the spot. So next time let's try to cover all that area. I think not taking everything so seriously.
And that was really hard for me, raising our daughter was like, of course, kids sometimes just don't want to do something, having the patience and not just like completely losing your shit over and just going, you know what, you put effort into it, let's just move on. So yeah, I mean, it's all about just taking a breath, taking a step back, accepting the help, whatever that looks like, and then letting go the rest.
I feel like we do that a lot with clients too. We might go into a space and they don't necessarily know what their vision is for the space. And so we have to ask a lot of engaging questions and a lot of what ifs, and there's still not a clear answer. And so we're doing that as well, as we can't take, as much as we want everything to be Tetris and perfect and cookie cutter dead, we know that that isn't a real life thing.
No, it's not.
So we're going to try this method. And if this doesn't work for you, then we can come back and we can refresh, we can reset it.
Yeah.
We can try something different. So maybe just take a couple of those and just work them into your daily brain of just letting the big stuff go. It is like, you can only get done what you can get done in the day. Like you can't kill yourself every day trying to do all of the things on the to-do list. It's just not possible. It's literally not possible. The people that you think are actually doing it are lying to you. It's not real life.
It's real about. And that's where you can just prioritize. And we are constantly, I feel like, using that word is prioritization. And it's really even have a to-do list of 3 freaking things, but maybe you just choose your top 3. And so if you get those 3 things done, you're all set.
I feel like too, sometimes when I get overwhelmed trying to balance, being a business owner, being mom and the household manager and still having my community and doing the charity work and all of those things, I think that, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get any of it done. But then I realized I have not taken any time for myself. I have not done any of my self-care. My self-care is yoga, is gardening, just freaking going outside and sitting in the sun for a minute.
Yeah.
So just if you're feeling overwhelmed, prioritize yourself for a little bit. Maybe you take a walk. Maybe you open a bottle of wine. Maybe you get yourself a snack. Maybe you go scream in your pillow. Maybe you go for a run. Whatever your thing is, make sure that you're also filling your cup.
Yeah.
And I know it's like a broken record. You've heard it all the time. But if you don't fill your cup, you can't take care of anyone else in your family.
So I call those non-negotiables.
Yeah.
I have a non-negotiable in the morning that when I wake up at 5, my non-negotiable is 2 solid hours of my self-care time. I do my self-care in the morning because it sets me up for the day. And usually at night, it's family time, it's husband time. I'm usually crashing at 9. So my non-negotiable is my time between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Now that could be whatever I want it to be in that period of time. And it changes. I go to the gym 3 times a week, but then the other couple of days I might be doing Qigong, I might be doing meditation, I might be doing breath work, business development, self-development. I'm huge on that. And those are my non-negotiables. Between the hours of 5 and 7, leave me alone. I love that. Leave me alone. And I love that. Leave me alone. It's nice. It's quiet. It's what I want to do. And then I don't feel like I get robbed of my me time. Yeah. And my household is too chaotic at night for me to do that. So I do it in the morning.
So a couple of different techniques that we also use is we use a family calendar. So we have all of our stuff on the calendar of what husband's doing, what I'm doing, what kids doing, family, everything's on the calendar. So it's accessible by both of us. So during the day, if we're trying to schedule appointments or meetings or whatever, since we implemented that after we had our kid, it's been so much easier being able to plan during the day and seeing who can be, on, I'm going to say babysitting duty, but we know that's not what it is. But who can be on kid duty versus I can go take a break or I can go to a yoga class. I know meal planning is a big deal that a lot of families do. That's very helpful. I just found this new app called Plan to Eat. And it's like $50 a year, but you can literally type in or copy and paste a URL into it of a recipe. Then you can plan during your day. You can plan it like for the week, and then it makes your grocery list. And that has saved me so much time because I can, get something from a specific book. If we're like on, a different type of meal planning or diet, it saves me the creativity, brain power of like, oh God, what are we going to eat tonight?
Yeah.
And that has been huge for me. And then also, you guys know my tips for like decluttering regularly. I have my basket. I walk around and put stuff in it that doesn't belong. The kiddo has systems and he has his routines that he knows that he has to clean up at these certain times. And that is like a huge, huge help. So I have some non-telling family what to do time. Yeah. They know that, hey, have you done your chores for the night? That's all I have to say. And then it triggers them to, oh, let me go do this.
Right.
It just makes it so much easier on me.
Well, I feel like also you do time blocking. For me, that helps a lot. Like one, I don't leave a room without doing everything that I need to do. Right. But let's be real for a second here. So it's like I have my self-care time between 5 and 7. And then from there, I have my work time. I meet with my assistants. I'm looking at my schedule for the day. I'm doing some back in office stuff, and then after that, I may have to go out to a session or I might go run errands. But I do time blocking in the sense of, okay, self-care 5 to 7, or I'm going to go run these errands between 12 and 2, or I got a session between 9 and 6. So then I'm going to go do these things that are all kind of lumped together between 4 and 6. So I'm just throwing out words. But if you just batch similar things together and time block throughout your day, you're not like running I got to run and store at 9. Oh, I got to go pick up the kid at 12. I got to go to the bed over here and the bed. I got to sit down and I got to write a podcast. I literally love the time blocking because it's just like, I've got this a lot of time, whatever that looks like. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 15 minutes where you're just picking up the house. It could be 2 hours where you're about to go run an errand. Whatever that looks like to you and you're batching those similar items, you're going to find the time efficiency in that because you're saying, okay, for the 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. For the 2 hours, I'm going to do this. The whatever. And you know your schedule. You're not running around in survival mode trying to figure it out.
I feel like when I decided to leave corporate and stay home when Nas was little, and then I started working on with my business again, I would sit down at my computer to do work that I needed to do. And I was so all over the place. I could not stay focused. I was not productive. And so I started doing what they call the Pomodoro method. It is not eating pasta at your desk. But it is, sounds great, right? I think I'm so hungry. It is taking like 25 minutes and knocking out a couple of things. So like I would say, okay, for 25 minutes, I'm going to check email. I would literally set a timer and that was done. I would move on to my next task. So maybe it looks like writing down a few things you need to do, doing 25-minute timer and then moving on. I would love to do that whenever I know I need a lot of like appointments today. Like, we need to schedule this for the house and I got to go to the dentist and blah, 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 or I need to make these phone calls for business. So try thinking about little time blocks too. If 2 hours is super overwhelming for you, just take 20 minutes. Set a timer. I like to use those visual timers that you get like for the kiddos. And actually like shows the time block and it gets shorter so they know. And of course I have one because there's a kid, but you can get them on Amazon Target at $10. So whatever that looks like for you, but start small and small areas. It could be, doing something on your computer, or it could be like, I'm going to work in this closet for 25 minutes and then I'm going to go to the bathroom counter for 25 minutes.
So to recap, basically when you are running careers, running companies, big family, small family, littles, older kids, whatever you have going on in your life, don't hang on too much to expectation and putting a lot of expectation on yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously, which we loved that in our previous episode. Let shit go.
Yeah.
Like, this is let it go.
Stop comparing yourself.
Right. Goodness. There are a lot of tools and tricks that you can monitor your time management throughout the day that we went over. And that was like, the time blocking, give yourself some buffer and grace. Self-care is huge. Habit stacking is one of the things that we love. And yeah, if you have any questions or, we're here to talk offline too, and we would love to start doing Q&As at the end of our episodes as well. We will always have content after our episodes to where you can go and actually review our method or whatever. And we want this to be more conversational. Our next episode I'm super excited about because we're going to be talking basically about products, implementing organizational items, because sometimes when you implement too many, it becomes its own clutter. Yeah. And then talking about the organizing trends. So that's going to be a hefty episode. Might be a little longer than usual. Thank you and bye.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.